Let me be honest with you right now. When I woke up yesterday morning and checked my phone, the first notification I saw stopped me dead in my tracks. Angel Reese, traded, Atlanta Dream. And I just sat there for a second thinking, wait, is this real? Is this actually happening? Because we have been talking about this possibility for months. People have been speculating, the rumors have been floating around, and now it is actually done. The Chicago Sky have officially traded Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream, and the WNBA will never be the same again. The Chicago Sky traded Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream on Monday, April 6th, and in return, the Dream sent their first-round picks in both 2027 and 2028 back to Chicago. CNN now on the surface, some people might look at that and say, okay, 2 first-round picks, that is a decent return. But when you really sit down and think about what Angel Reese brings to the table, what she has already accomplished in just 2 seasons in this league, and what she is going to do going forward, I think Chicago is going to regret this trade for a very, very long time. Let me take you back to the beginning because context matters here. The Chicago Sky were thrilled to select Reese at number 7 in the 2024 draft, and she had an excellent first season, proving that she not only had a dependable elite skill in rebounding, but could genuinely grow her offensive game as well. ESPN. She came in as this massive personality, this larger-than-life figure who had already captivated the entire country during her time at LSU. She led the Tigers to a national championship in 2023. She had that iconic moment against Caitlin Clark in the title game that had everybody talking. She walked into the WNBA with a target on her back and a chip on her shoulder, and she delivered, immediately. Without apology, she recorded 49 career double-doubles while averaging 14 points and just under 13 rebounds per game across her first 2 seasons. WTOC-TV? Let that sink in for a second. 49 career double-doubles. That is not a role player number. That is not a depth piece. That is a franchise cornerstone. That is a star. And the Chicago Sky just let her walk out the door. Now here is where the story gets really interesting because this trade did not happen out of nowhere. Angel Reese's days with the Chicago Sky seemed numbered since last year when she publicly voiced concern about the team's future, making evident that there was a fracture between the franchise and Reese, ESPN, and this was not a small crack. This was a full-on breakdown in trust and communication that had been building for a while. She got along well with coach Teresa Weatherspoon, who built trust with Reese during her rookie season. But when Weatherspoon was fired after just 1 season, Reese was publicly disappointed, and that was one of the first big cracks in her relationship with the franchise. ESPN, think about that. She finally finds a coach who believes in her, who builds a system that gives her confidence, who sees her vision for what the team can become, and then the front office fires that coach after 1 season. Of course she was frustrated. Of course she started looking around the league and wondering if Chicago was really the place where she could win a championship. Any competitor in that situation would feel the exact same way. Reese's fate was really sealed when she gave an interview to the Chicago Tribune in September. She gave her candid thoughts and acknowledged how the roster was not good enough and that the Sky had a lot of work ahead to improve their reputation in the eyes of WNBA players. She told the reporter the Sky have to get good players, which was not exactly a ringing endorsement of her teammates, and specifically questioned whether the starting point guard was a good option going into 2026. Bleacher Report now look. Some people criticized her for being too outspoken. Some people said she should have kept those thoughts private. But I want to ask you something. Why? Why should a player who is averaging a double-double, who is an all-star, who is one of the faces of the entire league, why should she sit there quietly and watch the franchise mismanage itself? She told the truth. She said what everyone already knew, and the organization decided to make her pay for that honesty. She ended last season on poor terms with the Sky, and a breakup always seemed to be in the cards, even though she told reporters in December that she planned to return to Chicago. CBS Sports. So even as recently as December, she was saying publicly that she wanted to be there. She was giving the franchise every opportunity to make things right. and they responded by trading her for 2 first-round picks that are almost certainly going to land in the mid-teens. Now let's flip the script and talk about what this means for the Atlanta Dream, because honestly, this is where the story gets exciting. Reese will now join an already talented Atlanta squad led by Rhyne Howard and Alicia Gray as they look to contend for a WNBA championship. National today. And when you look at that trio on paper, it is genuinely terrifying for the rest of the league. Rhyne Howard is one of the most complete guards in the WNBA. Alicia Gray can score from anywhere on the floor. And now you add Angel Reese crashing the boards, playing with that relentless motor, making every possession feel like a battle. That is a team that other franchises are going to have nightmares about. Atlanta finished 2025 with the WNBA's third-best record at 30 wins and 14 losses before falling to the Indiana Fever in the first round of the playoffs. NBC Chicago. So this is not a rebuilding project. This is not a team trying to figure out its identity. This is a team that already knows how to win, that already has a system, that already has a culture. And they just added one of the most dominant young players in the sport to push them over the top. The Atlanta Dream are coming for a championship. And right now today, after this trade, they might be my pick to win it all. The Dream brought in longtime college coach Carl Smesko last season, and he was a strong contender for Coach of the Year. Atlanta totally changed its offense under Smesko, who encourages a lot of three-point shooting and more positionless play. ESPN. Now, some people have questioned whether that system is the right fit for a power forward like Angel Reese. And that is a fair conversation to have. She is not a three-point shooter. Her entire game is built around interior presence, offensive, rebounding, putting back misses, and grinding defenders into dust. How does that translate in a spread-the-floor system? But here is the thing. Reese is not just a good rebounder. It is almost uncanny how great she is. She keeps possessions alive on the offensive end and allows teams more opportunities to start the transition offense with her defensive boards, ESPN, and in a system that pushes pace and creates open looks in transition, having somebody who is consistently ending possessions for the opponent and immediately pushing the ball the other way is incredibly valuable. Smesko is a smart enough coach to figure out how to maximize what Angel Reese does best while building around her limitations. This is going to work. Dream head coach Carl Smesko said her energy, toughness, and instincts will thrive in their system, and they are excited to integrate her into the style of play they are constructing in Atlanta. CNN, you can tell from the way the organization is talking about this trade that they are genuinely excited, not just doing the usual PR speak. They went out and got somebody they believe in. They see a future with Angel Reese at the center of it, no pun intended. And Angel herself? She seems ready. She said she is beyond grateful for the opportunity to join the Atlanta Dream organization and that she is focused on continuing to grow her game, competing at the highest level, connecting with the fans, and giving everything she has got to the Dream. CNN. She also posted a tribute video to Chicago on her Instagram before the announcement dropped, which honestly showed a lot of class. She said, "To the city of Chicago, you showed me real love from day one. Thank you, Chicago. Always Chi-Town Barbie." That was a graceful exit for somebody who had every right to be bitter about how things ended. Now let me talk about the bigger picture here, because this trade does not exist in a vacuum. This spring is shaping up to be the biggest free agent bonanza in WNBA history, with nearly every veteran across the league hitting the open market, including Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Aja Wilson, and Jackie Young, among others. Yahoo! Sports. The landscape of the entire league is about to shift dramatically over the next few weeks, and the Atlanta Dream just fired the first shot. They did not wait around. They did not sit back and see how free agency was going to unfold. They went out on day one and made a statement. We are here. We are serious. And we are coming for everybody. That kind of boldness matters in sports. It sends a message to your current players that the front office is committed to winning. It sends a message to free agents around the league that Atlanta is a destination. It sends a message to every other team in the WNBA that the Dream are not going to be pushed around anymore. One move can change the entire energy of a franchise, and this is exactly that kind of move. For Chicago, I honestly feel for the fans. The Sky are losing her personality, her off-court appeal to fans, her energy. For the most part, Chicago fans loved her, and many will be sorry to see her go. ESPN. She was the most popular player on that team by a mile. She was the reason people were tuning in, buying tickets, following the Sky on social media. You do not just replace that kind of star power with a couple of lottery picks. And now the Sky are heading into the 2026 season without their biggest draw, without their best player, and without a clear identity. That is a tough spot to be in, especially with the All-Star game coming to Chicago this summer. The timing could not be worse for the franchise. The bottom line is this. Angel Reese is one of the most compelling, magnetic, and talented players in the WNBA today. She is 23 years old. She has already been an All-Star twice. She already holds rebounding records. She's only going to get better. The Chicago Sky had a generational talent, mismanaged the relationship, and let her go for a return that is nowhere near her actual value. And the Atlanta Dream, to their enormous credit, saw an opportunity and pounced on it. Welcome to Atlanta. Bayou Barbie, the city is ready for you. The Dream are ready for you. And honestly, the whole WNBA world is watching. Because if you thought Angel Reese was must-see TV in Chicago, just wait until she is playing in front of that Atlanta crowd, playing with that Atlanta energy, playing with a roster around her that actually gives her a real chance to win. This is the beginning of something special, and I, for one, cannot wait to watch it unfold. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell because we are going to be breaking down every major WNBA move this offseason as it happens. This free agency period is just getting started, and there is a whole lot more to come. Drop in the comments below. Do you think this trade was a win for Atlanta, a loss for Chicago, or both? Let me know what you think. I will see you in the next one.